welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I'm just a girl who likes reading romance, fantasy romance, paranormal romance, any kind of genre of romance in general. And I also happen to have cerebral palsy, and it would mean the world to me if you would subscribe to my channel. I also hope watching my videos can make your day just a little bit brighter. Today's video is going to be my October end of the month wrap up. I'm going to talk about all the books that I read in the second half of October. If you're curious to know what I read in the first half of October, I'll leave my mid-month wrap up down below in the description. Rebound by Ava Hill. The groom left a bride at the altar, and he's a hockey player. And she was a woman hockey player, but she retired. And her getaway person to get away from her wedding happens to be her former childhood best friend. They used to spend a lot of time together, but then they grew apart. And he also happened to be her fiance's hockey teammate. So after he helps her escape from her non-wedding, they reconnect again. But then the hero gets traded to her brother's hockey team. They're in Vegas together. They get drunk and they get married. So it's an accidentally married in Vegas romance. But it was a little bit too long. It didn't need to be that long. But the heroine was a Olympic hockey player. I gave this book 4 stars. Unbreakable. It's a marriage in trouble romance. And the hero is a hockey player, and the heroine is his wife. They've been married for a long time. They have 3 kids. And he used to play hockey in California, but then he got traded. The hero is not helping with the kids. The wife does everything, and she's just tired. They get into an argument, and she's at her parents' house for a while, and she's contemplating whether she wants to get a divorce or not because she feels underappreciated. It goes back and forth between past and present timelines, and I give this book 4 stars. Unthinkable, the next book in that series, and we follow the same hockey team, but this time we follow a different player. He's a single dad, and the heroine is a single mom, and their 2 oldest kids are best friends in school. They both get called in to the principal's office because both their children started a fight with another child at school. But they also know each other because their kids play hockey together, and he is like the coach. There was a situation where she needs health insurance because she has a chronic illness and her husband left her and she has no health insurance, and he needs to get custody of his kids because right now he's sharing custody with his ex-wife, and he wants to gain full custody. But the only problem is he has no help with the children. So the single dad comes up with the idea that they should get married to each other because it will solve both their problems. Hero says, I'll treat you right. I'll treat you better than your ex-husband. I'll be there for the kids. I'll be your companion, but I won't fall in love with you. But of course, he falls in love with her during this fake marriage, and she is like the dominant one in the bedroom. Oh, and her chronic illness, I can't pronounce the long word. It's a really long word, but I think she has POTS. Sometimes she uses a cane, caretaking involved, because the hero takes care of her. 4 stars. Burning Dreams. It's an stepbrother romance. One hero is from the city, the other hero is from a small town. The one hero from the city moves to his dad's small town because he has to get away from his mom and his toxic stepdad because he is very abusive. So please check your trigger warning. This friendship between these two stepbrothers, and they slowly get to know each other in the small town. He is very closed off because he's dealing with bullying in school because of his appearance, because he has a lot of scars in his body, because he got into a car accident years ago when him and his dad were in a car, but then somebody hit their car, and from that accident his dad died and he's left with a bunch of scars. So he's very closed off, but his stepbrother gets him to open up, gets him to see that he's a great guy. He's a great guy. He's beautiful even with all his burn scars on his body. The one from the city gets very protective when he sees that his stepbrother is getting bullied. And eventually, city hero opens up to his stepbrother about why he left the city and opens up about his family situation. And I just really liked their slow burn French celebrity romance. 5 stars. Empire of the Vampire is about there is no sun. So the vampires in the world take control because the sun is no longer. And the humans are like subservient to the vampires because they control the power because there is no sun left in the world. And we're following Gabriel St. Leon, who is the last Silver Saint of the Order. Silver Saints are like half human, half vampire, and they are the only people that can stand up to the vampires. And Gabriel is the only silver saint left. And we follow him in a room with Gabriel and Jean, who is a historian, and he is on trial for murder of the previous vampire king. And before he gets killed, they want to know how he killed the king in the first place, but the historian wants Gabriel to go all the way back to the beginning. So Gabriel is telling Jean how he got here in the first place, but he's going all the way back from his childhood. But Gabriel is an unreliable narrator. 5 stars. I loved it. Empire of the Damned, and it's the second book in the trilogy. Just continues Gabriel's story with 2 other POVs added. And I don't want to say who those POVs are, because in case you haven't read the book. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the only way to kill the vampires is for someone to find the Holy Grail. So they want to know what Gabriel knows about the Holy Grail. 5-star. A monster. I read this book because of the bestie book reviews, and it sounded interesting when they talked about it. It's about a serial killer who's supposed to kill this woman, but then instead of killing her, he kind of stalks her and grows obsessed with her. So instead of killing her, he decides to make his victim, the next woman victim, his. But when she figures out somebody is stalking her, she kind of likes it. 4-star. The Island by Briar Prescott. The one hero is in love with his best friend, but his best friend is straight. He has a girlfriend who now is his fiance. And this book goes from past to present, and the one hero who has an unrequited love for the other hero, for his best friend, wants to get rid of his feelings. So when the hero invites him to like one last like bachelor party, he agrees to go just to bury his feelings and say goodbye. But there is a plane crash, and the plane crashes. They get stuck on this deserted island 4 months, and the straight best friend feelings start to develop for the other hero. But when they get off the island and he's rescued, which will he choose? His best friend or his fiance? 5 stars. The Defender by Anna Wong, and we're following Vincent and Brooklyn. Brooklyn is the coach's daughter for his soccer team, football team, because they're in England. And Vincent has a stalker, and so he doesn't live in his apartment anymore. For a while, he was living with his sister, Scarlett, from the first book, and her boyfriend. I'm not living with you because I do not want to be in that situation where I have to see you naked with my teammate. So Scarlett had the idea that Brooklyn has a spare room, and so Brooklyn and Vincent end up living together because of his stalker situation. Their banter was great. The yearning Vincent shows for Brooklyn, and how Vincent is always there for Brooklyn, and how he's always putting her first, and she's never had that in her life. Oh my goodness, it was so good. And The audiobook was great. It was duet narration style. The Brooklyn is performed by Stella Hunter, and I don't know who the male narrator for Vincent is, but he did phenomenal as well. One of my favorite of the months, but I forgot to put it in my favorite graphic. Souls in Ruin. I'm not gonna say too much about this book because I did it. My favorite romantic books that I read so far this year, and I talked for 10 minutes about this book. So if you want to know my thoughts on it, please go watch that video. But I gave this book 5 stars. It is going to be on top of my favorites list this year. It's a dark romance, even darker than the Legacy series, and I'm in love with the heroine. 5 stars. Sweet Wicked Thing by Jessie Walker, my queen of romance. It was so good to read a Jessie Walker book, and we're following Ashton and Vale, who used to be 2 boys who grew up, who were placed in the same foster home when they were 13, but a tragedy happened in that foster home, and Ashton and Vale get separated. Ashton gets whisked away to a mental institution because of what happened, and Vale gets adopted by one of the cops running the case. 6 years later, they meet up again in the same high school. Ashton wants to reconnect with Vale because he was his best friend. He was in love with Vale, but Vale does not want to remember the past with Ashton, but Ashton is not going to take no for an answer. He stalks Vale and forcing him to remember their time together, forcing him to remember what happened during the time they were in that same foster home, and you get to really see which one is the psychopath, the one who was in the mental asylum, or Vale, who represses his feelings about the past and doesn't deal with his trauma. He just pushes it down. Of course, I give this 5 stars. It was great. No one writes like Jessie Walker. No one gets into the psyche about her characters quite like her, and I just loved Ashton and Vale. Ashton I liked a little bit more. Those are all the books that I read for the second half of October. Please let me know if you have read any of these books. I would love to know. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Liking this video would help me out a lot. And I'll see you Friday. Bye.